welcome back to my channel. My name is Jackie and today I'm here for Vlogmas Day 24, and for today's video I'm going to be talking about the top books that I read in 2019. This is a video that I was originally going to do a top 10 favorite books of 2019, but I decided to narrow it down to my top 3 favorites because when I was looking at Goodreads and the books I read this year, I didn't have many new favorite books of all time which would be on this list. And I looked specifically at the top 3 books that I read and loved this year, so the books I'll be talking about in today's video, and I said, okay, these are new favorites of all time, so I'm going to talk about those in this video. And I have talked about these in videos before, my love for them, but this is more an in-depth discussion of it, so without me rambling further, let's jump right in and get started. The third place slot, we have Tower of Dawn by Sarah J. Maas, book 6 in the Throne of Glass series. This is a series that I started back in 2016, right around the time I started my channel. I read the first 5 books in the span of 2 weeks. I was addicted to it, and then Tower of Dawn came out a year later. I had forgotten everything about the first 5 books, so I put it off and I put it off, and now the series is complete, and I finally read Tower of Dawn back in June, and I loved it up to the expectations I put on it from my experience with the first 5 books. I just loved it so much. I am not personally the biggest fan of Cale's character in the first 5 books, but he really started growing on me after reading this book, and then I am currently rereading it right now. That's why I don't have my physical copy with me, so that's why you guys are seeing a picture on the screen. But I love it so much. I am so eager to finally finish my reread of it and then dive into Kingdom of Ash in 2020. But yeah, this is the 3rd favorite book of 2019 for me. In the second place position, we have Nevernight by J. Kristoff. Out of the 3 books I'm mentioning in today's video, I thought this could top my favorite book of 2019 as far as my favorite. I love this so much. I went in, so basically I've explained this in videos before. I had picked this up from the library since it had come out a couple of years ago many times. It always intrigued me, and I kept checking it out from the library over and over again. I just never got around to reading it. So I finally put myself a physical copy of this book, and I was a little bit worried going in because I knew there was going to be cliff notes at the bottom, which is not something I had read before in a book, so I didn't know how I would handle that. But oh my god, do I love this book series. It's again now one of my new favorite series of all time, and I can see why the hype is so real around this book because it's really great. I have yet to continue on with the series. I can't wait to dive into God's Grave. I'm probably going to have to reread this book before doing so. But oh my gosh, guys, if you haven't tried out Nevernight yet, please do so. It's fantastic. And finally, the number 1 position is something that I think that most of you already know was my number 1 book of 2019, and that is The Kiss Quotient by Helen Wong. This was a huge surprise for me because there's a few different reasons. I don't read contemporary very often. As many of you guys know, I primarily read fantasy. Contemporary is not my thing. This is also my first venture into the chick lit genre, so adult romance, and I didn't know if I was really going to like it because I just don't like reading about that stuff. But it was so good. This was a very highly anticipated release for a lot of people the year it came out, and now I understand why. And I will link my full review of it I did on this book back in, I want to say I did in May. I will link it on the screen because I talk more in depth about my full-fledged non-spoilery thoughts about how I personally connected with the main character Stella as somebody who is on the spectrum myself. I have the same form of autism as Stella does, and it is honestly so well done in this book. I know it's also owned voices for the autism representation, which is also great to see. It hit me in such a way that is probably within my top 3 favorite books of all time at this point. I loved it so much. I know there is a companion novel out, which I also have on my TBR. I will be picking that up in 2020. I cannot recommend this book enough, guys. please check it out. For today's video, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, be sure to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. I'm posting a new video every single day leading up to Christmas, so make sure you're subscribed and hit that notification bell to be notified for when I post a new video. And let me know in the comments down below what your favorite books of 2019 were, as I would love to know. And as always, all my social media links are linked down below for you guys to go check out if you'd like to follow me on any of those. And all being said, I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day. I will see you guys tomorrow for the final day of Vlogmas. Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye!